Right, so 3:30, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Wow, oh, wow. And Nebraska gets another bad break because Nebraska had to play Jaden Maeva and USC off of a bye week, and now they're going to face a Wisconsin team that I believe is going to have some extra juice and motivation because Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator's out. So they're going to be, again, you're going to be seeing ghosts in this game. And it looks like Tony Guyton is going to be the play caller in this contest. So things are getting real in a hurry in Madison. All right. And that does not mold well. That really molds poorly for Nebraska football. All the pressure in this game is on Nebraska. I believe that Luke Fickell and Wisconsin, they made a bowl game actually against LSU last year, even though that they were really poor. Nebraska needs to go to a bowl game. I believe that they've lost like 4 straight games. They're 5-5 on the year, and there's 2 games left, this game and the Iowa game. And Nebraska's offense, in the red zone, they've just been pitiful. Dylan Raiola is losing confidence. They had to fire their offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield. So Nebraska in this game, first of all, Wisconsin's passing game with Braden Locke hasn't exactly been fantastic. And I look at him as a quarterback, and he's a lot more limited than Tyler Van Dyke would have been. So even though Ethan Garbers was able to go in the Lincoln and deal, I think that the black shirts are going to be incredibly motivated. I think that if Dylan takes care of the football, I think Nebraska is going to have every chance to win, but Nebraska mentally has not been able to close out games. And then can they run the football against Wisconsin? Now, for Wisconsin, they're also trying to get to a bowl game. Luke Fickell is pretty consistent, but they're off of an emotional loss against Oregon. So Wisconsin also had a bye before they played Oregon. They played Oregon so well, and now they have to go down the Lincoln, and they put everything in the last game. Everything. So for them to get off the mat, that's going to be really tough. New offensive coordinator, but again, for Nebraska, it's not a bad spot because the game was so physical against Oregon, and that was Wisconsin's Super Bowl, and they had a chance to win that. There's going to be an emotional low just for human nature. So Nebraska has the more talented team. They have the better quarterback. Their defense is old and veteran. And since Wisconsin can't really throw the football, Nebraska's defense at home, last home game on Senior Day, this game is going to be absolutely lit. It's going to be a barn burner because Matt Rhule needs this game. If Matt Rhule does not get this game, Dylan Raiola could transfer. You lose out on 3 weeks again. You're cursed in terms of your bowl eligibility. And then if you look at Nebraska, you look at them in the non-con, they beat Colorado, and that's a good win, but Colorado wasn't the program that they are now. I think that they had Northern Iowa and UTEP. UTEP, one of the worst teams in the Power 5 because Scotty Waldron is just getting started. Then you look back at that Illinois game, you kick yourself because there were chances to really win that game, but Illinois is a decent club. The UCLA game really could have been Nebraska's moment to go out there and to get that win, which would have brought them to 6 wins. They played Purdue. They beat Rutgers, and again, Rutgers is a better team now, but they caught Rutgers again right, just like Colorado at home. Against Indiana, they were an embarrassment. And then against UCLA was the worst game of the year. So if they beat UCLA or Illinois, they have 6 wins. And then they can maybe get to 7-5 because they're not that good of a football team. The way that they played against Indiana, the way that they played against like UCLA, against even USC, they weren't winning that game decisively either way. So they're not that good of a team. But if they had 6 wins and they're going into these last 2 games, Iowa and Wisconsin, I think Nebraska's going to be a slight favorite in this game against Wisconsin. I think that they're going to be like a 3.5 to 4.5 point favorite if I were to say what's going to happen here. But again, Wisconsin is playing with house money. Wisconsin's going to be looser. Nebraska's going to be really tight on senior day at home. All the pressure, the fish bowls, getting the Matt Rhule. Everybody knows about the bowl streak. It's the big elephant in the room here, okay? But can Nebraska in this game, can Dillon remain clean? Like, can you hit Fedoni? Can you have an explosive play if you are Nebraska? The longer Wisconsin keeps this game tight, the more Nebraska can F this game up. Special teams and everything else, the edge points to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's secondary is actually coached by Alex Grinch, and they're having a decent year. So if you're Dana, you might want to be kind of conservative on offense. Like, give Rico and Emmett Johnson a lot of touches. Make it easy for Dillon. Field goal kicking is going to be big. Like, points are going to be at a premium in this game against Wisconsin at home here in November. So if you play clean on offense and don't turn it over and kick field goals, you're going to have a really good chance, because I think the black shirts are going to show up and show out against Wisconsin. I don't believe Wisconsin can score in regulation more than 14 or 17. So if you on offense get into the 20s, you're going to win this game by 10 points, okay? But let's see how Nebraska can play it. Let's see if they can play clean. Again, they can run the ball better. They actually have better weapons than this Wisconsin team. This Wisconsin team is nowhere close to where they want to be on the offensive side of the ball. They're coming off of an emotional loss. Nebraska here, their defense should absolutely deal in this game, very similar to the way they played against Colorado. They should play a lot better than UCLA and Indiana. They should get back to this should be like Rutgers versus Nebraska. And if Nebraska plays that level, okay, of defense, they could hold Wisconsin to 10 and they can win the game. Am I going to have the guts to pick Nebraska outright? I am. Because I don't believe Braden Locke and Wisconsin's going to go on the road and win. But at the same time, it's like, is Nebraska going to finally get 6 games? This is one of the biggest games, because if Matt Rhule loses this, there's no way I think they're going to Iowa City and winning. And then again, will Dillon transfer? And then holy crap, you literally are cursed and cannot get to 6 wins, including playing some real bottom feeders in the Big Ten this year. You get Wisconsin. You got UCLA in year 1 of this new coach. You got Rutgers at the right time. You got Purdue. I know Indiana was bad fortune to get them on this year, but should have been a 7 or 8 win year. Really should have been. Should have played more consistent. Again, UCLA and Illinois, those are winnable ball games there. And then you would have got 7. You probably would have won this week and got 7. Okay, I'm not saying you would have gotten 9, but you would have gotten 7 and 5. And now 7 and 5 is such a stretch. So let me know what you guys think about this game. I think it is pivotal, this game, for Matt Rhule in Nebraska. I think it's the most important Nebraska game in probably 4 or 5 years, okay, which people can roll their eyes at. But to get to a bowl game, to get this hurdle, to overcome this hurdle is pivotal for Matt Rhule, for this tenure, for this state, and for this program, if Matt Rhule is going to be the guy going forward here for the long haul.